Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my updated Venom deck. So a lot of people have been asking me to update my Venom deck for a long time, and I've decided to finally do it. I haven't changed really that much because there isn't that much new to mess with this deck. Venom decks are generally based around Venom Swamp and also getting out their boss, Vennominiaga or the Venom King, depending on what's going on. You want to get the Deity out as soon as possible, but it can be hard depending on what's going on the field. This deck is generally on the weaker side of most archetypes just because its support is very lacking. It would need some more powerful things to kind of make it work. Maybe in the future it'll get something or more monsters. It could really use more monsters that have, more effects than just place Venom counters. But other than that, it's still a fun deck type, and if you do run it correctly, you can, kind of increase your chances to get Vennominiaga out, which is really powerful if you're able to get it out. So first off, in this deck, we're going to be running a lot of Venom creatures to kind of, offset Venom Swamp because they, can't get affected by Venom Swamp. Running 3 Venom Cobra, just a decent defender and goes with the archetype, kind of necessary for the deck type. 2 Kagetokage, helping us a lot in this deck, a Reptile, which, works with the deck and also gives us access to XYZs. Getting out King of the Feral Imps helps the deck be a lot more consistent. 1 Rescue Rabbit with our Cobras can be very nice. 1 Vennominaga, so you can run this at more than 1, but you only really need to get 1 out, so I don't really see the point of running more of it. Some people do run more, but I think it's just cloggy and kind of unnecessary. And then 2 of the Venom Kings. You can run 2 or 3. I think 2 is fine. You might want them in the graveyard, you might want them in your hand. It depends on what's going on the field, but if you get too many in your hand, it'll be bad, but then you can also run trade in. So it's just up in the air whether you want to do that. Both of these cards are very powerful and are the main, goal of the deck. Running 2 Venom Boa. Not a good attack for a tribute monster, 1600, very weak, but again, part of the Venom archetype. Still good to have as many Venom cards as we can. And then 3 Serpent and 3 Snake, just helping you build counters, which is very nice. Their attack again is on the weaker side, which is normal for Venoms, but again, we kind of need them to make the archetype work. For the spells, 2 MST, 1 Raigeki could run Dark Hole. Dark Hole could help you because it can make the destruction of King happen. 2 Snake Rain, I find that this is almost essential for this deck to send things to the graveyard. You could send Boas and King to the graveyard to set up things really, really quickly with this deck. 1 Soul Charge, too bad it's at 1 now because it would really help this deck in order to bring back Venom King, which is very, very powerful. 1 Terraforming because our field card is so important, and the field card just making your opponent lose attack and have their monsters get destroyed, which is a very nice field card. The problem is just keeping it out. We're going to be running a lot of traps in this deck because it kind of supports what the deck is trying to do. Some staples, also 2 Call of the Haunted, helping us get out King, very, very important. 2 Damage equals Reptile. You can run this at less. I find that this is really good for this deck type because you're able to, bring out Venom King from the deck very, very easily. 2 Offering to the Snake Deity. This card was actually designed for this archetype. Very, very powerful in this deck type to get King destroyed in the way you want it to use its abilities and just, make the deck happen basically, and just a good card overall. And then we're running 3 Rise of the Snake Deity. So this is the key component to the deck. It's getting out the deity from King getting destroyed. So it's tough to set this up, but we are running it at 3, which again can be cloggy, but it's really the main win condition of the deck, is to try to get out Deity. Without that, the deck is lacking a lot of power, so that's why we're running it at 3. And just other staple traps, not much to say there. So now for the extra deck, we have a lot of variety. You can put whatever you want in this extra deck, honestly. There's just so much room for whatever, and the level variety is a little bit different. So, I just have Castel, Exciton, Gagaga, Alucard. We're running 3 King of the Feral Imps. You don't need to run 3. I'm just doing it because you can in this deck, not a big deal. Very good to search out whatever reptile you need, preferably King for the situation. Lavalval Chain, obviously, for this deck can be good. Leviair, Silent Honor, obviously Blackship. Master Key Beetle, really nice in this deck to protect Venom Swamp. I really like having it for that. Obviously, it'll get destroyed eventually still, but it's nice to have that for some protection. Obviously, we do have Venom, Serpent, and Kagetokage to get that out. Heartlandraco to helping us with little damage, Photons, and Zenmaines. Again, you can pretty much run whatever XYZ you want. It really doesn't make a huge difference. You want to have access to powerful XYZs, while you're waiting on things to happen. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen a video of mine before, in the side deck I kind of just go through other recommended cards, other ideas, other things that could be useful for the deck type. There's a lot of things that could be interesting for this deck. There's a lot of things I didn't mention. Hopefully I'll get to that when I'm done with these 15 cards, but there are a bunch of other interesting things you could do. Evil Dragon Anadu is a secondary boss. It will get rid of all your priorities in the deck though if you do run it because it gets rid of the reptiles in your graveyard. It's still a very powerful card. Oshlin can search out King, which is nice. Reptilians are an interesting archetype you can mix with this. Reptilians or aliens. Both could do some interesting things for you. Tyrant Neptune, another interesting one that's also a reptile, could help you out. Dark Hole, as I was saying, Foolish Burial, obviously to send things. Solidarity will give you your Venoms a little more power, but then obviously you only have to run reptiles. If you want to run more Terraforming, that's another option because of how reliant the field card is. Trade in depending on how many level 8s you're running. Venom Shot is kind of interesting, but I don't think it's, as powerful as it might look. I think it's kind of situational. Viper's Rebirth is a pretty interesting one, but again, focuses on the reptile things, but you can easily, get some special summons from that. Ambush Fang's another interesting one to generate counters. Again, I'm not a huge fan of it, but it can be helpful to stall. Limit Reverse, kind of like Call the Haunted. With Limit Reverse, if you can stall for a turn, you can automatically get King destroyed, which is another interesting thing you could do. Metal Reflect Slime is a really, really interesting card for this deck because it'll generate counters, but it won't get destroyed, so it's a stall card that helps you out, and your opponent's going to have a tough time getting through this by battle. This combos really well with Venom Burn. If you can generate counters on Slime, you can activate Venom Burn and do a really lot of damage. So with Venom Burn, you can kind of a burn variant on this deck. That might be something I might try in the future. Maybe not do King or Queen at all, just try to build counters and do Venom Burn. But that's not really what I'm trying to do, and not really the idea behind the deck. That's just kind of another way to run it. In line with Venom Burn, there are XYZs out there that have 0 attack that you can also use to stall and activate their effects and do Venom Burn and all that kind of stuff. So anything that has 0 attack, you can do some interesting things with Venom counters and Venom Burn and some of the other stuff. There's a bunch of other tech that could be useful for this deck, other reptiles, other, cards that just help out what this deck is trying to do. Just too many to list here, but I'm sure some of you will talk about them in the comments. But that's my Venom deck. Again, kind of on the weaker side of archetypes, but I still have a lot of fun with this deck, and I do like what it does do. I really hope it can get some more support in the future to make it a little bit stronger. It maybe not competitive, but I think it could do some interesting things down the line if it has the right cards, maybe to help it get out Queen or to help Venom Swamp be more effective, something like that. But again, I still have a lot of fun with it, and I feel like it could get more powerful, as some new interesting cards are added to the game. But, let me know if you guys have your own Venom deck. Post below. Let me know in the comments. Talk about what cards you use. Maybe make some suggestions for me. I'll love to hear that. But that's about it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.